So I am a night owl.
Oh, see, and I'm a night owl too. I can stay awake.
What's with the Boston accent?
Where'd the accent come
What's
from?
with the Boston accent?
It was kind of more Canadian.
What's that all about?
Naturally, I'm a night person. Naturally.
Naturally, me too.
I would love to be a night
But-
person.
But I love the success.
If it's something
of
that
waking
gets
up
me
early.
going, I can wake up early and I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
It takes me a second to like, okay, oh, I'm doing this. All right, let's do this.
I actually do wake up decently fast.
So, yeah,
I don't at all.
I
struggle.
lag.
I drag.
See, and
lag
it
and
sucks for
drag.
me, even on my days off. Like, let's say for some reason, we do this tonight. I don't get to bed till 1 o'clock in the morning. 7:30 will roll around and I'll start tossing and turning in bed, and I'll eventually just get up.
Zach's an afternoon person.
He's not morning or night.
It's like, I'm noonish.
10 to 8.
10 to 8.
I got a solid 10 hours of living to do each day.
Oh,
Now,
man.
you know who has a really major schedule?
Who's that?
Dwayne Johnson.
What a roll!
Right on.
That was
You mean
slick.
Dwayne?
I know, right?
I liked that.
Can you smell? Sorry, I don't know
Not
how
right
he says
now.
it.
That's exactly how he says it.
Oh, all right.
What the Rock is cooking.
Doesn't he like go blah, 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 blah. Can you smell
I've never seen that one.
That was like
Not that
disgusting.
intense.
That was like a Muppet.
I didn't know. I realized why I've been married so long.
Sounds like a,
Careful. We're rolling. We're rolling.
wow. That honestly sounded like a rejected Muppet.
Secondhand
Sounded
Muppets.
like Beaker that got
Murked.
Beaker through his rough years.
Well, let's talk about
gonna say,
Dwayne
yeah,
the
let's hear
Rock
about this.
Johnson.
I want to talk about, this is his tagline, the jabroni beating, pie eating, trailblazing, eyebrow raising, all around, smack it down people's champ.
Nice.
I'm surprised you didn't have that memorized.
I don't. I'm sorry.
I am
It's
surprised.
one of his newer ones that it didn't really catch on. Like it did, but it didn't, if that makes sense.
I
Oh,
mean,
like
it's a tad long.
It is.
He was trying to replace what the Rock's cooking.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't really replace that, but.
That's like when he's getting down and hard, like you take him seriously, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like you were going to listen to me. That's his. I can't do that thing.
The eyebrow.
Yeah.
The
I
eyebrow,
can do-
yeah.
Yeah.
I can do it.
You can.
I can do
It was
it.
like very uniformed. I liked it.
I'm good at doing it. See, Austin's got it. We got the eyebrow.
Very well groomed eyebrow. That looks fantastic that
Do you
way.
think the Rock's eyebrows are groomed? Are they?
They gotta be.
They've got to be.
Everything
Dude,
on that man
everything.
is
I was
groomed.
gonna say everything on him is groomed.
I can't let myself go wild either on the
know-
eyebrows.
Ever since we discussed the Rock in the previous episode, I cannot get over the fact that he probably smells like Wagyu beef.
Wagyu beef.
He probably
Lightly
does.
seasoned Wagyu beef.
So
Wagyu.
before I get into his early life, I want to tell you guys. We talked about him last time.
Uh-huh.
I kid you not. I had a dream between our last podcast and now.
Was it
boy.
wet or dry?
One of those dreams.
I don't want to. I don't want to hear at all about it. If it's even semi-wet, even if it's a moist one. Don't bring it in here.
That sounds even
Like,
worse.
no morning glory whatsoever.
There's silence.
on.
We're moving on.
No, so I believe if I remember right, Austin and Tony were there. I don't know where you
In the
guys
dream,
were.
we're in
Yes.
the dream. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The Rock was
Gross.
he was here doing something. We went to go meet him, and like literally, I believe it was you. You like shoved me forward, and you're like, "Dude, The Rock, Dwayne, you got to meet this kid. He is your number one fan."
Give him a
And
kiss.
I
He would
walked
do
up
that.
and he like put his hand out, and I literally just like grabbed his hand, and my knees buckled, and I passed out.
And then you woke up.
And yes, and then it was weird too, because in the dream then I went into third person and I backed out.
Your soul left your body.
It did, and then as I woke up, literally tears were coming out, and I couldn't talk to him. I could not speak whatsoever.
Can I tell him?
Starstruck.
Can I tell him?
What? Okay.
That wasn't a dream. That really happened.
We were there.
You really died. Your soul left your body. We performed CPR.
And then we told you it was a dream.
Yeah, just for your own
All
sake.
right, all
It was
right.
really embarrassing for us. So thanks for that.
I'm just stuck on the fact that we got placed in the friend card, the friend list right here.
Now,
We're at the
now
bottom.
before we go further, I want to
Right.
explain what's going on here because this is going to be an atypical conversation for us.
An atypical.
Or is that right? Am I thinking?
I mean, does it
I don't
mean
know
it can
what that
have its own
means.
babies? But
what's the word? That's the word I'm thinking of, right? Whatever.
Like it's not
it's an
uncommon?
off-top. It's an uncommon topic for
just
us.
say that.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to. Anyway, this episode is we're gonna at eventually in the future we're each gonna have a topic where the others cannot
Veto.
veto it.
Yes.
So this is Zach's topic that we could not veto.
Unvetoable.
like you'd want to unveto this
we
topic.
would
you said-
veto it. We wouldn't.
I mean,
unveto
like
it.
you would want to veto this
This
topic.
is us unvetoing it.
We're unvetoable.
So
It's like when people say unthaw. I'm going to unthaw this thing out of the freezer. So you're
Isn't
going to
it
freeze
frozen?
it
So,
again?
I'm gonna unfreeze.
It's thaw. You're just going to thaw.
Wow.
Sorry. I'm passionate about that one.
I say unthaw. I said, did you unthaw the meat for the dinner?
Yeah.
well, there you go.
If it's
Can
unthawed,
unthaw.
it's frozen.
I'm an idiot.
So yeah, that means put it back in the freezer.
Anywho, Zach.
So this next hour plus is all for you.
Yes.
Lead us down this.
And by the way, before I forget,
Rabbit hole.
welcome to Five's a Crowd.
Yeah.
Hopefully 6. Rock, where you at?
Yeah, no kidding.
Dwayne.
If anybody you
sounded
have hookups, I mean, I'm your guy to hook up. So
I don't know what you mean by hookups, but better only be hand holding.
I'll pass out anyways.
I can see him now.
So where are we starting with this? I'm curious.
So let's start out when he was young. I mean,
Okay.
He was a large baby.
Was he large? Was he huge?
He was born
He
18
had to
pounds.
be.
he had,
With a
with
six-pack.
his stature, I mean, I don't know.
Well, should we go back even before he
His
was
mother
born?
was a strong woman.
He was
His father, right?
Well, yeah, his father, Rocky Johnson.
He was a
stout man.
Yeah, professional wrestler, big guy. So that's the funny thing. So not the funny thing. So The Rock has kind of come from a split family. His dad is Black Nova Scotian, and then his mom is Samoan. That's the word. So his mom's Samoan. She was actually adopted by another wrestler. His name was called the Great Peter Maivia,
how do you say the name?
or Great Chief Maivia.
Maivia?
Yeah, Maivia.
My view.
I was trying to Google how to pronounce it, and it wasn't helping.
What do you think?
Didn't
it's
help.
Read.
I don't know. I was
okay.
I think I was saying Mavia.
He
But-
he typed in it. It said, "Good luck."
Take
Best
a
of
guess.
luck.
Anywho,
So pretty much The Rock grew up with wrestling in his blood.
Okay.
I don't know the full story as far as like his childhood. I know there was a lot of times. So I don't know if you guys started watching the new show Young Rock.
no,
No.
It
What
just
about-
started the other day, right?
It's
Yeah.
it's been on for about 3 weeks now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Are you going to question him
Yeah, sometimes.
about this?
It's got 3 episodes out.
Okay.
Out of your
Then
wheelhouse.
maybe you're
I mean,
right.
I'm just
And it
saying.
releases bi-weekly, so really it was a week and a half ago.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just kidding.
Anyways, so in one of the episodes, it was talking about how when he grew up, there was always a play to happen. Like he always had to play in front of people, like wrestling. Like he had to shoot it, and basically just that was him. That's how you had to make
like he
yourself
was
look good.
always putting a performance.
Yes. So they one day, like there was one day after his dad was wrestling in the ring, him and his mom were there. Afterwards, they went to his grandma's house, and a bunch of the wrestlers met up there. They're having some poker and stuff. And Andre the Giant met him up there.
Dang.
And anyways, The Rock asked his dad because they had a very nice car. Can't remember what it was, but they had a very nice car. But that was about it. That was really nice in their life. They didn't have a lot of money, didn't do all this stuff. And he asked his dad, and he said, "Hey, why do we have such a nice car, but not a nice house or anything like that?" And he said, "Do you think I could disappoint my fans and drive out of the arena in a crappy car? No, I have to show them this is my life." So,
Oh, man.
Dang.
Rock took that and a lot of stuff he did. He, when he was, I can't remember how old he was, but he joined a football team, and he kind of went in there with a really cocky attitude. A lot of people didn't like him that well. And that's what it was. His dad showed up beforehand and like tried to raise him up and like make him this person he wasn't. And he kind of got upset about it. And these kids were making fun of him. And so he thought, okay, great, I'm going to put on a show. And there was a record on the thing for lifting so many weights and doing so many bench presses on it. He literally walked up his first time, put that same amount of weights on there, and we lifted one more than the record holder.
Wow.
Like on his first day in the gym, literally just walked up, and that's how he was. That's how he says presidents.
Pure
And that's how he's always
willpower.
been.
Pure willpower.
Always wanting to be the best. And he's proved it. I mean, he's one of the highest grossing actors in Hollywood.
Is
One of
he
the highest
highest?
followed Instagram.
Yeah, highest followed
accounts?
Instagrams. He might be the highest. Oh yeah, he's world's highest grossing actors at 10.5 billion worldwide.
Billion?
10.5 billion?
Wow.
Grossing though, that's not 1 year. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still insane.
Yeah.
Now, does that include all of his assets? Like, does that include his tequila brand? His
No,
That's
that's
called-
just his.
Well, and that stuff's just
Just
Terramana.
what?
Just acting.
Terramana? Yeah.
Terramana.
And he just made an energy drink company,
yeah,
didn't he?
Zoa.
Yeah.
He made an energy drink company. He's also got probably high part owner in Under Armour, right?
Yeah,
Through
he's
his
got his project line,
Project
Rock line,
Project Rock.
which
He started that TV show that I don't know if it's still on, the Titan
Ballers.
one.
Oh, they just did a season of it.
Okay.
Wasn't Ballers his too on HBO?
Yes,
That was his.
That was a great show.
Jeez.
It was.
But yeah, that just consists of his like acting and all that stuff. His Project Rock line. I'm actually wearing a pair of his shoes right now.
Do you feel strong in them?
A little bit.
Do they make you like
Run
plus 10
faster.
on strength?
You know, I feel like I gotta live up to his expectations. You know.
Dude, when you look into The Rock, you can't help but feel inspired. That man
No, for sure.
is a beast when it comes to all of it.
Well, and we were joking earlier about schedules and stuff, dude. I following him, you know, on social media and all that stuff. That dude is up until midnight, 1 a.m. sometimes. And then he literally has his clock set. I believe it's like 3:30, 4 a.m. And he's up and he is just weightlifting for like hours on end. And then goes and does this whole thing from there. And then he goes back into the gym. And he was on location in Hawaii filming the Jungle Cruise. Literally packed up all of his weights and had a whole tent set up with his weights there.
Well, he has a traveling gym.
How does he have family time? Because how many kids does he have?
I think he has the one little girl.
No,
he have more?
got two.
Is it two?
Two or
Okay.
three.
Because he always talks about the girl his daughter that doesn't believe that he is Maui.
Yeah.
And she gets really annoyed when he sings the song.
They sing the song together. Yeah.
Well, he'll sing it and she'll be like, "Dad, stop it. Like, let Maui do it."
So, fun, interesting fact. Her birthday and my daughter Ronnie's birthday are on the exact same day.
So why didn't you name her Dwayne?
Should have.
You know, that's a good question. You can still change your name.
It's true.
Just tell her not to
You
get
can call
used to
her
it.
Rocky or, you know,
Little Rock. Little Rock.
I think my wife
Lil
might
Rock.
kill me at that point.
I mean, you just do it without knowing.
Yeah.
You can nickname
We can all call
Ronnie.
her that and just, you know.
All right. All
The guy is fascinating though, because
Well, and sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
We talked a few weeks ago, and we were talking about people who have transcended their arena, so to say. The household names that you don't follow their traditional, you know, their sport, like Wayne Gretzky, like Michael Jordan. You may not follow NBA, you may not follow hockey, you may not even follow wrestling, but you know who Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is. Like, that's a guy who has literally, in every single way, transcended the arena.
Oh, yeah.
Dude's everywhere. And I don't know how he has the time for any of it.
For real.
I don't know either.
If there's a cloning machine, it's definitely been used on Dwayne.
There was like what, 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, he put out like 5 movies that year. So like his schedule, it was literally, he'd shoot a movie and as soon as he was done, he'd be on to the next.
Yeah.
Like all year long. That's all he was doing.
Do you know how much self-discipline that is?
Well, and
And he's, again, traveling gym.
Yeah.
He's working out constantly while doing all of these things.
yeah. So to go back onto his schedule, I looked into it a little while ago because I was really curious about his eating regimen.
Yeah.
Because for Mentry, I really want to do a video where we all sit down and we try and eat his entire day's worth of food in one setting.
Just one serving of his stuff. that we all
No,
do.
his entire
His
day.
entire
No,
day.
that's what I'm saying though. Like his entire day, but one person, not like we're timesing it by
Yes,
5.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. All of us eating
Yeah, so
his daily
we
serving.
we would probably do. I mean, because I feel like his daily we could easily between the 5 of us destroy.
Maybe.
Because he only eats 7 meals and he eats like about.
That's it?
Well, but yeah, but it's all really light.
Oh, okay.
What's his cheat?
It's
but
a
his
lot
cheat
of
meals
it's a lot
like
of fish and rice.
Yeah.
his cheat meal's crazy though.
Yeah, I was
Yes,
gonna say.
and so
I've
that's
seen-
what I was
my
gonna get
gosh.
at. Is I think his daily regimen we could easily oust, but I think we should do his cheat day.
Yes.
because his cheat day is like 20,000 calories.
So there was
Oh, divided by 5.
there's a few pictures I watched of him, and he posted what was it, like 3 or 4 medium pizzas, and these were like just nice, look delicious pizzas. They weren't like a Little Caesars pizza.
Like
Yeah.
I mean, they were
filling.
just filling pizzas. And then he ended it with like a huge half-gallon mug of milk and like an 8x8 pan of just super thick, decadent fudge brownies with caramel
gosh.
and all that stuff. And he'll eat it all. He'll
Yeah.
sit down one sitting and eat the whole thing.
Well, and that's
I
what
saw-
I'm getting at is like his regular 10,000 calorie day. You guys honestly probably wouldn't eat it because it's mostly veggies.
Yeah, gross.
Like Jess and I were looking at
Give it a
this
shot.
list of his meals that he has throughout the day, and I'm like, honestly, the hardest part is going to be able to get the guys to eat the veggies that they need to eat in order to beat this, because it was like a mountain of broccoli, a mountain of this, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't know. if
I
we
would
can
eat
get-
it. I wouldn't enjoy
Yeah,
it.
but he's also got chefs cooking it like super deliciously.
I mean, there's only so many ways to cook broccoli.
Yeah, but there's pretty good ways.
If you're staying healthy, not so
I
much.
mean, it's still good, even if it's
Steamed
smothered
with
in
with a
you
little
know.
bit of pepper, not salt. Like just light. It has
Yeah.
to keep it light.
See, broccoli is actually one of the few I really love.
I actually do like broccoli.
Same. But I mean, that was just an example. But I think we could do his daily easy. I think we need to do a cheat meal. I think that would be so funny because
Yes.
I just want to see his daily cheat on one table.
I saw
it
one.
would be ridiculous.
It would be huge.
I saw one. He had a stack of pancakes that was no joke, 1.5 feet tall, next to a plate of bacon that was just mounded. And this was his breakfast. Obviously, I'm just like, frickin' A. And I think a bowl of eggs. It had to have been a dozen eggs.
Once I was on that, I ate 12 dozen eggs or 1 dozen. What did he say?
That's right.
A Tupperware of eggs.
Tupperware.
That was a reach, but I respect that joke. Anyway.
Yeah.
Dude's insane.
Yeah.
He's
Wow.
a beast.
Sorry to go even further.
No, you're go
And
ahead.
then I was thinking, on Mentry, if we all the 5 of us decided to do this, we should do not only what he eats in a day, but then another video of living a day as him.
Oh my gosh.
And his regular scheduled routine starts at 4 a.m.
Yeah. I
And
was gonna
there
say
were-
he's up at about 3:15, 3:30.
some
When does he
sites-
go to bed?
Some nights he sleeps like 2 hours.
Some sites it
doesn't
didn't
seem
make any
healthy.
sense because some would say he wake up at 3:45. Some said 4:45. Either way, he would hit the gym by like 5.
Yes.
And he was at the gym lifting weight and doing stuff for
It was about 2 hours.
2 hours, and then he'd take an hour break to eat and do something else. And then he was back to the gym for another hour. And so
And then he goes
in
and
that time
showers and gets
span-
ready after that.
Yeah. So by 9 a.m., the normal time that I'm lollygagging out of freaking bed, the dude's already been up lifting weight for 3 hours and ate his breakfast and showered and ready to roll.
It's crazy.
He's
So-
not human.
But Jess made a very good point in that when you look at his daily intake, it's all extremely clean eating. It's fish, it's steamed rice, it's fresh vegetables, not a lot of crazy additives, no syrups or sugars or anything crazy like that. So his diet fuels him efficiently throughout the day so he doesn't have to sleep so much. So his clean fuel is giving him what he needs, and he eats 7 meals a day.
But there's certain things that your brain has to do when you're asleep.
And you're right. And I don't know if he really does ever go to bed at midnight. Everything I read said about 10 p.m. was like the
That
absolute
could be it.
latest.
I know a lot of posts that he makes. There's times where he's up until midnight.
Well, I mean, he's got someone running his social media or something. I don't know.
But I'm just saying, like live, like he's live streaming it. Like
Well, yeah,
midnight.
he'll do live streaming sometimes. He'll post pictures and he'll say it's midnight and I'm reading this new thing, getting ready for the day. Blah. I still got to be up at 4 a.m. Like it happens more often than not.
burning the
Really?
midnight oil.
That he's burning that midnight oil.
Baby oil.
Some people too. They're just
Bro, he burns all the oil. Have you seen him?
He has someone that just follows him around with a little spray
A
bottle.
little spritz.
Just spritz all of oil all day long.
What's your profession? Oh, I glisten the rock.
your left pectoral's a little dull. But there are people that are just wired and built different too.
Well, he is a prime example.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is
But
the
also,
example.
I mean, if you force your body into a routine, your body's gonna keep up.
And
with
I get
routine.
that as well. But I mean, some people I don't think have the mental capacity to get their body that way, to get themselves that way.
the drive, let alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane.
I'm curious what he's gonna look like when he's older, like when he when his
Hulk
body.
Hogan's age.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like when his body physically can't take it anymore, and he has no choice but to slow it down.
And he stopped shaving.
Does he shave?
I just want to know what
Does
his
he
body's
shave?
gonna do. Is it gonna come?
He knows that he shaves. I'm sorry.
Well,
I just
how
want
does
to
he
point
not
out that
shave?
he no. I'm just saying.
Are you talking his face or are you talking other regions?
Who knows exactly?
Well, he has to shave. You see his
Other
face.
regions?
I mean,
I
he
don't
has.
Does he shave other regions?
I don't know about
I mean,
that,
I don't-
but I mean,
The guy,
don't know.
I know for a fact he doesn't have armpit hair. So
No.
whether he
I
shaves
mean,
it or he,
It's impressive.
so
The
you
guy's
look
got
at
enough
the
money
dude's
to-
legs and his arms and chest,
pretty
like there's
glistening.
no hair.
But then
the most
again,
he'll grow
he's-
is like a goatee
he's
or
half
something.
Samoan.
He's
like
half
that.
Samoan. Samoans aren't hairy.
not at all.
No.
So maybe the dude's just hairless.
Plus, he's got enough muscle that the hair probably just stops.
The
Like,
muscle looks at the
blocked.
hair follicle and it's like, not here, bud. Sorry.
Have you seen his muscles after a workout? Like the
Yes.
veins and the good.
I can't think of a
Heavens,
time
man.
I've looked at him and not seen his muscles.
I think every time I see him, it's right after
Easy
working
there,
out.
bud. We got this.
I know. Is there a time you look at Dwayne Johnson that he hasn't just worked out?
True.
That's what I'm getting at. Is
Yeah,
he probably
true.
just did
Exactly.
push-ups or something right before that picture? or
It's
whatever.
always the pump. He's always got the pump.
Well, I'm
Shake weight.
pretty dang sure that like
Goodness.
there's that
Do you think he
sound.
has one?
There's no way. There's no way.
I want to. This would
There's
be
no
fun.
way.
I want to find out. Someone needs to ask him that in an interview.
There's no way that dude has.
Have
a
you ever
shake weight.
tried a shake weight? Dwayne.
I could see him and Kevin.
He'd
Hart
probably
doing
shake
something
it to
weird about
death. Like,
it. Falls apart. Look at it. Wham!
Just one.
oh man.
Goodness.
That's funny.
I love that we are literally on no track at all. We're literally just
This
talking
is just
about
a fan sesh about the Rock,
It
you
is.
know?
A fan session with only one fan of Five Guys. Nah, I'm a
No, I
fan.
love
Oh,
it.
I
He's-
think
guys are
we all
fans.
love
He's
Dwayne.
inspiring. He's a very inspiring man.
yeah.
Makes me feel very little.
And he's so
Right?
well, in more ways
more
than
than
one.
one. Yeah.
Yes.
So I didn't realize this either. Like, dude's 6'5".
Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought he was about 6 feet, maybe 6'1".
I
Have
don't-
you seen him next to Kevin Hart?
Yeah, but Kevin Hart's like
4
4'2".
feet.
Anybody next to Kevin Hart, my 10-year-old next to Kevin Hart is going to make him look. about average.
But dude's huge. I didn't realize he was that tall.
Yeah.
So
I feel like he has to be. Like, to be as big as he is, he would be as wide as he is tall if he
usually-
wasn't any taller.
But
Yeah.
usually the tall guys, they have a hard time building on the muscle like that because they're trying
That's
to.
called steroids.
But again, he's Samoan.
He's Samoan on steroids.
I thought.
Do you think he's ever done steroids?
I was actually going to ask that same question.
no.
No.
Oh, come on.
Honestly, though,
Like, even
honestly.
just to test it out in the
No.
beginning of his career.
No.
You don't think he is currently?
No.
now is this just blind love, or like has he blatantly said and denied it multiple times?
I don't know if he's said or denied it, but I would be 100% shocked if he has ever tried
So this is
steroids.
blind love.
I mean, if you look at him in his first entrance into wrestling, I want to say it was 95, 94. What?
Nothing. Keep talking.
What?
Just keep talking.
What'd you find?
I got to investigate some more. Keep talking.
Go.
Did you find something?
Go. he bought and
Of
sold.
course, this should not be a shock to anyone. A professional wrestler used steroids, but seeing someone like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson saying that he used them is shocking. I mean, we see people like Brock Lesnar, Batista, and Bobby Lashley who are possible,
Yes.
but he admits to steroid use.
The Rock did.
He
really?
did.
And black tar heroin.
I mean, he's only half Greek god.
I mean, I would highly doubt he's doing it now.
Yeah.
He's not.
I mean, it does.
that
It does.
stuff-
He does say that it is. He says Johnson admits to steroid use. Is it just his era that used? So it's just. It is. It does seem to be focusing on like WWE times.
I mean, yeah, back then, like 98, 99, it was really big.
He was said to be giving. Oh wait, Vince McMahon was about to go to jail in the early 90s. He was said to be giving illegal steroids to his wrestlers. He may
Yeah.
have not handed them out, but he bought them for the wrestlers.
Yeah, that was a huge.
I think
90s
if he's
thing.
taking steroids now, it's got to be some kind of natural. I don't see him.
They're all
It's natural.
natural.
Human
they?
growth hormone.
But who natural to who though?
Testosterone boost. Yeah.
Just because for how well he takes care of his body as far as diet and everything, not just to be huge, but just to take care of his body. I don't see him tainting that with anything
That's what I'm
unhealthy.
See, and
highly
I
doubt he
think
would do it now.
I think being in that realm, like let's be honest, in wrestling, you're in a realm where your body and the size of your muscles is pretty much your entire
Part of the
person.
show.
Well, and I guess I
For
guess it
Goldberg to
was.
have traps that size,
Well, I guess it was blind love, like you
Oh,
said.
yeah, I forgot about Goldberg.
Yeah.
Dude, those traps were huge.
Back then, though, in the 90s, that's what it was. It was the bigger you were, the more successful you were in wrestling. Nowadays, wrestling it's not about how big and muscly you are. It's more your
Acrobats.
technique and your acrobatic and
Your theatrics.
what you can actually do in the
right?
ring. Yeah. But
I was going to say Ray Lewis, but that is a way wrong name. That's a football player.
you think of Rey Mysterio?
Yes. Ray
Did he have the mask?
Mysterio.
He had the mask on, right?
he still has it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's still
in there.
around?
Oh okay.
Oh, yeah.
Still around.
What?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How old is that guy?
Fountain of youth.
Mysterio's probably what, 40s? Late 40s?
And he's still doing his flips and
Oh,
stuff?
yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Attaboy.
Oh, man.
Well, the Undertaker still goes to like WrestleMania and does special events too, right? Even though he's
As
retired,
a commentator.
just retired.
because he was around when I was little.
No, he just wrestled a match last March.
What do we mean by wrestling? Like go in the ring and
Yeah.
throw one hook? I don't know. That dude, I seen him walk. It's not much of a walk.
No, but the fun thing about Rock, so he was actually, like I was saying, he started about 93. He was about 25. No, he was 25 years old when he won the WWE Championship, making him the youngest ever champion
Wow.
in wrestling. And he was actually the very first person to be a third generation star as well.
That's
which
cool.
actually opened up the doors for a lot of third generation stars.
So before he became The Rock, wasn't he Rocky or something like that?
No, that was his dad, wasn't it?
Well, his dad was Rocky Johnson.
Okay.
And then his grandfather was the great high chief, Peter Maivia.
Yeah.
And anyway, so he came in when he first started. He started out as Rocky Maivia.
Okay.
And then he adopted, then he dropped the Maivia and just went with Rocky, and then eventually adapted the term The Rock.
Well, there was another name in there that it made me chuckle, and now I can't find it. It was like the blue something.
The blue steel.
Blue steel.
Or was it
There
blue?
was Flex Cabana. That was before, that was his indie days.
Because I remember I was watching a clip about him, and he was talking about how The Rock came to be.
Yeah.
And he was Rocky something. So like you were saying, and everybody was saying boo Rocky and booing him and everything. And then he got released, and then Vince McMahon asked him to come back on, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to come back on." But he goes, I want a favor from you. I want 2 minutes to speak directly to the audience. And so Vince McMahon said, "Okay." And he got it, and he gave this speech to the audience telling him, "I don't care what you think, you know, The Rock's going to dominate." And like, that's when he turned his name to The Rock. You don't know about that?
When was this?
Oh, I don't know. I was watching a clip. It was a
90s?
clip on YouTube. And he was saying he wanted 2
That's
minutes.
when he came back as a bad guy, because he started out as a good
Yeah,
guy.
he was smiling, getting his butt kicked and everything, and everybody hated him. And he said that's when he was putting on a part. And then he's like, "I'm going to be The Rock." And so he came back and he said, "I wanted 2 minutes." And he gave this big speech to everybody. And that's when his fame just started.
I was going to say, that could have been,
Rocketing
yeah,
up.
because he was a part of a group called the Nation of Domination.
Okay.
And that probably was, he was starting to get bigger and better. And that's probably when he rounded off. He did leave and then come back.
But I just thought, that's pretty cool. He took that initiative. He said, "Okay, I'm going to come back." Even though he was let go, he's like, "I want to come back." But he goes, "I just want 2 minutes." And then he had a moment in his head where he's like, "Okay." He's a smart man.
It's go time.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. And he is like a really big reason why WWE is still around these days. Because there was a huge battle going on between WWE and WCW. And they called it the Monday Night Wars. And it was a ratings war on who was going to win. And WCW was actually winning really well. And then The Rock was a part of that generation that they shifted the tides, brought it over to WWE, which they put WCW out of business. And so
And then they turned to they were weren't they WWF
they
still?
were WWF. And then
And then when WCW went away,
so
they got
WWE's
sued.
the WWF is actually
World Wildlife Foundation.
exactly. And I don't know the whole story about that. Why
I
they
don't
got
see
away-
the difference
Well,
between the two.
I don't understand why all of a sudden after so many years that they finally decided to sue him for the name.
Right?
And so they
Maybe
had
they were hurting for money. Like, let's be honest.
they
Maybe they were in a
probably
weird
were.
spot and they're like, "Hey,
so they
these guys."
they had to turn around and their slogan was "Get the F out."
Hey, so real quick, I found that name that made me chuckle. At one point, he went by the nickname the Blue Chipper.
Blue chipper.
Yeah,
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
I don't know, but it was funny.
Okay,
It was funny.
well, speaking of meanings, what does he mean by "Can you smell what the Rock is cooking"? Like, what does that actually come from?
That is, so he'll come out to the ring, say his speech, his line, I'm gonna show up at WrestleMania and I'm gonna beat. So his biggest huge feud was actually between him and Stone Cold.
See,
Arch rival?
I'll tell the truth right now. There was a time when I did watch wrestling.
Okay.
For as much crap as I give you,
Yeah.
I watched wrestling during the time of The Rock and Stone Cold.
Yes. It was great wrestling.
It was
too.
fantastic.
Yes.
I loved them both, and I didn't know which one I wanted to win.
Right? But that's what his tagline was. So he'd come out and he'd say, "I'm going to win this match." His taglines were always, what was it? I'm gonna check you into the SmackDown hotel. I'm gonna whoop your candy ass. And then after all that, he'd go, "If you can smell what the Rock is cooking," and that was, if you know what I'm saying, basically like, this is what I'm gonna do.
So it's like, are you with me? Amen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
So The Rock, he was a bad guy. He wasn't a good guy.
So here's
he
the
started
funny
out
thing.
as a good guy, but then
he was kind of cocky.
He was, and he actually. So he started as a good guy, which they call him babyface, and then he would go over to as a bad guy, which is a heel. But then the fans just got so behind him as a heel that they had to turn him babyface because they were just cheering for him regardless.
And you're not supposed to cheer for
Yeah,
that.
you're not really supposed to cheer.
What's a
sorry.
baby face and what's
yeah,
a heel?
yeah. What's a heel and baby face?
Babyface is a good guy. Heel is the bad guy.
Heel,
Oh,
how do
okay.
you spell it?
H-E-E-L.
And this is
Oh,
like
okay.
this is
Like
wrestling
actual heel.
lingo.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of times when you book a match or when you're booking a huge match, you usually typically want a babyface against a heel. You want someone to root for.
A
Yeah.
hero and a villain.
And so when it was going against Rock and Stone Cold, like you had said, The Rock a lot of the times was booked as a heel. Austin was the babyface, but fans were cheering The Rock so much that it wasn't working.
It's funny.
Didn't
They're
it go-
their general.
It kind of went back and forth, didn't it?
Yeah,
for a while.
It did.
It's like
It went back and forth who people were cheering for, who they wanted to win. but-
because their general look, I would have pegged Austin as a heel.
See, and that's the funny thing too, is they actually tried to peg him as a heel at first. And then they tried to make him go after the boss, Vince McMahon, and all this stuff and defy this. And the fans ended up loving him so much that they turned him into a babyface.
Which,
Like,
side note, Vince McMahon is crazy buff also.
used to be.
was.
Used to be. Well, I
He
mean,
has
he
lost
hit
it all.
He hit it under that suit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
dude
the
was-
owner. He's the owner, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you see that video that I sent you where they shove his face into some guy wearing a thong?
Yes, dude. Those
Yeah, Rikishi.
Those were the things that I was just like.
that?
Those were the things where I was just like, "Ugh, I can't watch this. This guy's sweaty balls up in that dude's face.
So that was one of Rikishi's signature moves.
Who is this guy?
So the Rikishi is the Rock's uncle.
What?
That's a real thing?
Yes, in real life, that's his uncle.
And he just go out wearing a thong.
Yeah, he like a sumo thong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
there
didn't
was
know that.
hardly anything there.
Yes, but that's what he wrestled at. So the Rikishi was, I believe it's the Rock's uncle. Yeah, and then he actually had two kids who actually wrestled.
Wrestled. They're wrestlers.
He had two kids that actually wrestle right now in WWE that are the Rock's cousins. Same thing. He's
Those
got
are some.
so
big
there's
shoes.
like 4 or 5 right now in WWE that are the Rock's cousins.
Well, I was reading something
So-
that was pretty cool. That his dad was the first black tag team champion or something like that.
Yeah, him and I can't remember the other guy's name, but yeah, they were the first ever black tag team.
And then
champions.
his grandma was the first woman
Promoter.
promoter. Thank you. Yeah. I was like, man, so you weren't kidding when he comes from a background of wrestling, but not only does he come from the background of wrestling, they like laid the foundation for this.
Yeah. Yeah, they laid a lot of the foundation, and that's it's funny how The Rock said it, because he's just like, I put it into my everyday life. My family was always, that's the word I was looking for, selling. You go in the ring, you have to sell your character. You don't sell it, you're not going to last long, because the fans they'll eat you up and spit you out. And so that's what The Rock, how he lived the rest of his life, and he still does. He's got to sell his character, and that's how he's gotten to where he's at.
What if he still, like, by some reason, still lives in like kind of a podunk part of town, but everything you see is a show?
That would be awesome. It's not true, but that would be so awesome.
He's like hiding in plain sight,
Yeah.
living in the projects.
Cecil Hotel. Just kidding.
That's still.
So here's a question, random. Has The Rock ever done a promotion with Chevy? I feel like
Like
that's
a
a
rock.
slam
Like
dunk.
right?
Could you
No.
imagine?
That would
Have
And
like a
there's just
Why-
and
why don't you be a promoter?
The singer's just on his shoulders.
yeah. You hear the eagle screech, and you just see him do the smolder.
He's just walking him around like there's not even a truck in the commercial.
You see a Ford drive into the rock and crash and crumble and like a
Falls
rock.
over.
That'd be great. That would be great.
Oh, that's
So-
awesome.
So kind of jumping backwards a little bit, I thought it was cool in his football career, which apparently
Yeah, he
didn't
played-
last very long.
No, he played for the Miami Hurricanes, and actually won a national championship with them.
Right. But he only started once, and he was actually second string, but he was second string to Warren Sapp. And so it's like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Which I thought that was pretty cool.
So he played
He played college ball.
College ball.
well, yeah, but what position is that? I can't remember what Warren Sapp played.
He was
Defensive tackle?
Defensive tackle. And then he went to a Canadian.
Well, he tried for the NFL draft, went undrafted.
Yeah.
And then he ended up going to the
Canadian Football League as a linebacker.
Wow.
But then was cut 2 months later.
yeah.
Or 2 seasons. 2 seasons.
And then they had called him back. They called him back later. He talks about this too, but they called him back later. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to have to think about it. Thank you." Hangs up, and his dad's like, "So you're going to do it?" He's all, "No." He's like, "What do you mean? You throwing away?" He's like, "I think I want to get in the business." He's like, "What business?" I want to wrestle. Yep. And
That's
then he
cool.
tells his dad, he says, "You got 2 choices. You can either train me or you cannot train me, and I'm still doing it." That's what he says to his dad.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did he have a good relationship with his dad? Because I feel like
I'm
I
not
read
100%
something that,
positive. I want to say yes and no. I know there was a lot. I don't know the full story, and I haven't really looked into it too much. He was more close to his mom. Like his mom and him went through everything growing up, all the hardships, I think it said at one point they were homeless. Like he said, like his production company is now $7 production. It's because at one point in his life, all he had to his name was $7.
Well, one thing I read that, and I don't think we were recording yet, but Chris kind of mentioned it. I was shocked to see that he was arrested a couple times.
Yeah.
For theft and fighting.
Struggled in his teen years.
Yeah. That was
Forgery. He forged checks.
that was the other one.
And then, so there's a pinnacle moment for him too. And it's crazy because I was listening to him talk about all this, and I was like, if he hadn't have done things right from here to here, we wouldn't know who The Rock is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in high school, he's like, and he quotes, "I was a punk kid." He went, so they were only supposed to use the student restrooms, right? And he said, well, it smelled like piss in there. So he went to the faculty restrooms. So he goes in the faculty restrooms, he's using it. And the coach for the high school comes in, and he's like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here." And he says, he looks back at him very ignorantly, and he says, "Okay, I'll get out when I'm done." And then he walks past this guy, turns to him, looks at him because he was big, looks at him like, "What are you going to do about it?" and walks out. Well, he went home that night. He said he remembers going home that night, and he just felt horrible that he had done that to that guy. So the next day, he goes in and he says, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I'm sorry for the way I acted, and it was very inappropriate of me to act that way." And the guy looks at him for a minute and then sticks out his hand. He shakes his hand, and he says from then on, he goes, "I want you to do one thing for me." He goes, "I want you to come try out for the football team." And he says, "Okay." So, I mean, that moment right there, it's little stuff like that to where he's like, oh, like self-recognition, like, hey, I shouldn't be doing this. It's impressive to me for who he is. Yeah. And it just shows you, it attests his character.
Well, yeah, especially because you look at his situation, being broke, being homeless for a time with his mom. There's so many people nowadays who live in difficult situations, and they immediately just play the victim card.
Yeah.
Just give up. It could have been so easy for him to do that. But and the thing that I love about these stories is it's not only is he on a normal scale, if he were in an average like middle income household and he got to where he is, that's an amazing story. But again, to come from practically the bottom and go higher than anyone else.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Let me add to that too. When he was talking about it, he was so humble about it that he says, I owe it all to him because he had the empathy to accept my apology, even though he could have said you're a punk kid or whatever. He goes, I owe it to him because nothing about him, having remorse for it or anything, but he owes it to him for the empathy that he got for him going and apologizing.
Yeah. He could have reacted a completely different way and ruined that moment. Like that was a moment where he showed humility and he was asking for for forgiveness, and he could have reacted a totally different way that stopped him from ever doing that again.
Yeah.
Well, and even looking back at it too, Dwayne could look back and be like, "Oh yeah, I really brought myself down to go and apologize," and blah. Like he could
Boast about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He could take the credit for humiliating himself to go and
For how good of a person am I for going and apologizing?
Yeah, exactly.
But he didn't take that spin at all. It was just
right.
It was all about how that coach had empathy for him and helped him realize,
Well, and today, a lot of kids that would do that, they do that to then go brag to their friends.
yeah.
Go immediately put it on TikTok, or they'd film it
look,
happening.
look what I did to this coach. I snuck into the faculty bathroom.
I'm so woke. I told him what was up.
I had it humbled me though, because if there's kids that are acting like punks, I'm like, that punk kid, you know what I mean? I'm like, I wonder how many, if I,
Teachable moment.
yeah, exactly. If I were to take his example in that and be like, hey guys, and in a different way, I was like, maybe I could meet the next rock or the next, big person too. Like it really was kind of humbling to me as well, because I get that in my head.
Right.
Sometimes.
Well, and you take those small moments. At the time, that coach probably didn't think anything of it. He was just accepting the apology of this kid and didn't think anything of it. Who would have thought that flash forward 20 years, that suddenly you just gave the inspiration to Dwayne Johnson.
I was like, that rascal told me in the bathroom.
Hey, fun fact about high school, his classmates thought he was an undercover cop.
Because of his mustache.
He was so big in his mustache.
Oh my God.
For real? Yeah. Wow.
They were thinking 21 Jump Street was happening in real life.
Well, and it's funny too about how you say that. He pays it forward a lot to his fans.
Yeah.
Like there are so many times he'll post videos. He'll be just driving in his truck.
Yes, I was
And
just
then
thinking about
all of a
this.
sudden he goes, craziest thing's happening right now, and he'll move the camera over and there's this guy next to him honking his horn, waving, and all of a sudden finally he's like, all right, pull over. So he'll literally just pull over, get out of his car, go over to this guy, let him take a picture, say hi, and he'll be like, all right, man, I'm gonna get in my car and go again. Then he'll get in his car and just drive off. Same thing, people will be waiting for him. Like he said, there was one time they were filming and he said, I've got to stop and say hi to these guys. They've been sitting out here for like 12 hours now, yelling my name, chanting, all this stuff. He's like, I got to stop and say hi. So before he's leaving the set, he'll go over, say hi to these guys, give them a high five, take pictures with them, sign whatever they want to sign.
Yeah.
And basically just show his appreciation, because he knows if it weren't for all of these people, he wouldn't be who he is or where he's at.
Yeah. So I have to ask, not that I don't doubt that he really is a genuine person, but do you think he does that even off camera?
Oh, yeah.
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 Because I've seen the videos too, and it's like any actor can come off as a nice guy when the camera's on him.
Yeah.
I also think partly because with cameras being everywhere, if he weren't being that way, it would go viral.
It'd get caught, and
Yeah, he's at a peak where one slip or miscue and the internet could tear him to shreds.
Especially in today's world, society.
Yes.
I don't know, but some people, when you see some actors acting all nice and genuine, like talking to you, you don't get that same feeling as when he's talking. Like, I don't know, unless he's just that good of an actor. But I mean, you can just tell he's
I just
genuine.
think he's just that genuine.
You can just tell. Mm-hmm. Like,
I wish I could be that genuine on 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Like,
I can be genuine. Pissed off. Genuinely pissed off.
man,
Well, and I mean, I don't know. It's not to say it's a little different, because I'm sure that dude has so much stresses in life, trying to juggle everything. Mm-hmm. But I mean, he's doing what he loves. I mean,
right?
I don't know. I might have a different attitude in life on 4 hours of sleep if I was doing what I loved every day.
And made millions.
Yeah, and millions.
Billions. With a B.
I think he's just had learning experiences in his life, and he's actually taken them and ran
He's
with
humble.
them. Yeah.
He's Captain America.
Oh, yes.
Started out as in a very humble situation.
Rock for president.
Sorry, Chris. Sorry, Chris. Get out of here. You're going to be the next Captain America.
Yeah, crazy.
He's actually going to be a superhero. He's going to be Black Adam.
That's a super villain.
Kind of goes back and forth, doesn't he?
I'm pretty sure he's bad.
It's
Just a
bad the whole
villain?
time.
He's like
Way to
he's
smash
Shazam-
his
it's
dreams,
Shazam's
Cam.
enemy.
Yeah, but I thought he kind of helps him out a little bit, but I could be
Don't
wrong.
think so. I don't know. I
thought he
honestly
jumps
don't know
back and
much
forth.
about
I don't
him.
know.
But
Is
I
he-
always thought he was like bad.
Is
Yeah.
he DC or Marvel?
DC.
So
Which
I
is
mean,
kind of unfortunate.
so there's hope for the DC movies, bringing Dwayne Johnson into it. It's like, all right, guys, this is our Hail Mary. I got an idea. Let's bring Dwayne Johnson into it. For what? I don't know. Let's create a character.
Dwayne.
But we don't have enough money. Sorry.
Let's sue someone.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, that's who it is. Ben Affleck, you're out.
Robert Pattinson, you're in. You're a lot cheaper.
I got an idea.
That explains
Let's bring
it.
in Robert Pattinson and Dwayne Johnson. It'll bring in the different generations. People are like, ooh, Edward is going to be Batman. It's come full circle.
Calm down, Mom. It's not that kind of movie.
He's God.
Oh my gosh.
So speaking of acting, though, so when he was done with wrestling, how did that come about?
So it's actually kind of funny because this is where I have a really love-hate relationship for him. If I would to hate him for anything, is I loved him in wrestling. And he actually got a startup doing The Mummy Returns.
Oh yeah.
As the Scorpion
The
King.
Scorpion
Well,
King.
that was his first movie. He was actually in acting before that.
He was in a
Well,
couple TV shows.
He was in
Yeah.
a couple TV shows.
Yeah,
he did a
Star
small
Trek.
part in the 70s show.
He was
that
wrestling.
70s show.
But that was his first like big acting role.
Well, I mean, wrestling he has to act too, though.
Well, yes,
You know.
yes. But so that's when he did that, and it actually became a hit. And then they did a spin-off of the Scorpion King movie, and he
Which
did that.
that was much better. 'Cause
Yes.
they used some crappy CGI.
Yeah, they
in
used
them. I mean, I
horrible
still love
CGI.
the second Mummy. Two of my favorite movies.
Yes.
Third one we don't talk about. But the Scorpion King itself was really good.
Yes,
It was good.
But then he went on to do that, and he went off and did a couple more movies, and then he just kind of realized like, hey, I can't be a wrestler forever, so it's time to shift my career. And he actually came back one time as Hollywood Rock, and he came back and people booed him so bad.
was he trying to
Oh,
get
see,
back
I thought-
into it, or was
Oh,
he just
yeah,
doing
he
like a
sold out.
cameo?
He
At
just
that
was.
point-
He just was doing a thing. He had left for like a year and a half, and
I
then
thought I
came back
saw-
and played the gimmick of the bad person.
Oh, is
I was
that
gonna
when he
say,
had
I thought
the
he
shiny
saw-
glasses? Yeah, okay. I've seen
Oh.
pictures of that.
Yeah, I thought I saw him. He came back in like 2012 for just an appearance, and like ratings went through the roof.
Oh my gosh, let me just tell you. So he does all this stuff, then he starts getting into his acting, but he had left WWE for probably 10 years. And there was this surprise. It was coming up on WrestleMania, which we talked about as like the Super Bowl of wrestling. And there was going to be a special guest host for WrestleMania. And they teased it. Someone gets out a limo. It's some woman's legs. And they're like, who is this? Like they are teasing it up and down. And then all of a sudden, like literally the arena goes dark and all this electricity, because he's the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. And that's his tagline. Anyways, all this like a little electricity promo, all this stuff goes through everything. And all of a sudden his music hits. What starts off, can you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Can you smell?
Dude,
What the Rock is cooking.
I'm getting chills just talking about it right now.
Yeah.
Like the arena exploded. He walks out.
Thousands dead.
The energy was just too much. Nobody could take it.
It was. Dude, he comes walking out like nobody expected it.
Palpitations.
It all of a sudden got real sticky in there.
Get a mop.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, totally.
No, you're good. But so he makes his comeback, and then he actually at WrestleMania announces his return match to the ring, which was going to be in a year's time at the next WrestleMania against John Cena, who at the time John Cena took the star power of wrestling away. Pretty much, he was the star, and ended up having another match before that. Like they got him back in and stuff like that. But he he spent about a year coming back to wrestling.
Wow.
And then he went back again to doing his movies. But that was like, I remember watching that. Actually, it was a Monday Night Raw. And I literally, just to make sure this was real and I wasn't dreaming, I woke up the next morning and had to go back and watch it. Like to make sure I wasn't dreaming.
You must have very vivid dreams.
I do.
Because I easily wake up and I'm like, oh yeah, that was a dream.
No, I do have very vivid dreams.
I've had dreams where, like, looking back at it, I honestly don't know if it was a dream or not.
I have some of those too. More of when I was like teenager age. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for I know I really wasn't a werewolf hunter.
Yep. Dude, he made a movie, at least one movie, some years multiple, but at least one movie every year from 2001 to 2019.
And he,
I
so
was gonna
it's
say, I
funny.
was looking at that here.
And in 2010 and 13, he made 5.
Wow.
Jeez.
And every other year, honestly, he almost always made at least 2.
See, and I've got something else to say about his acting career too when he was doing it, but you were going to say something.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's actually was really cool of him because he started out with like kind of these lower budget films. He did a remake of Walking Tall,
Which was so good.
Yeah,
It was
good.
I
Really
loved
good.
that
That was
movie.
really good.
He also did the Gridiron Gang, which
Yep.
And the
We just
rundown.
watched that the other day.
the Gridiron Gang.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
But that was even later because
The rundown.
Yeah, he
The
did that
Rundown?
right after. He did that right after the Scorpion. King.
yes,
Yeah.
that was his big
And then
first one right
Walking
outside
Tall.
that role.
I don't think
Doom.
I've seen Rundown.
Doom, which
Well, it
tanked,
says
but I
Be
still
Cool,
like it.
Doom, Gridiron Gang, Reno 911, Southland Tells.
Well, he did Get Smart with.
Yep.
Was that with?
That came a little later,
Steve
but
Carell
yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Anne Hathaway.
So funny.
But for a while there, he was actually just doing like kids movies.
Yeah.
He did Return to
Race
Witch
to
Mountain.
Witch
Race to
Mountain.
Witch Mountain.
Wasn't he a Tooth Fairy guy?
Yeah, he played the
Fairy.
Tooth Fairy. That's
Which-
the movie was called The Tooth
Well,
Fairy.
then-
Which apparently
So-
he got a new agent right after that movie.
So as funny
Really?
as
Yep.
that is, when I saw that, I was like, oh, he's following Arnold Schwarzenegger's steps.
Yeah.
Because he's the guy that transitioned from, bodybuilding to acting and
acting as hero, like big, like
Acting as
Conan,
hero.
and he was Terminator and all that stuff.
but he started out, didn't he start out doing, oh no, he didn't start out doing the kids
No,
shows.
Conan was like his
No.
first movie.
Yeah, you're right.
But he the reason for him doing those kids movies, it was because he actually came out and said, he's like, I've got a daughter at home and she can't watch these rated R movies. I'm not going to let her. And so he's like, I want to do some movies for her. I want her to watch I want her to see me on the big screen and see what I can do, which I think was a major thing for him doing Moana.
I was just going to
Like-
say, what can I say?
Yeah.
except-
I mean, he comes out and sings and all that stuff.
You know what I didn't realize until like an hour ago? What's his name? Lin-Manuel Miranda, the guy who wrote Hamilton, wrote "You're Welcome."
Really?
Oh, really?
And he was in the studio with him,
Wow.
coaching him as he's saying. Like he's literally in the studio across from him on the mic, and he's like getting him into
Oh,
the
my
song
head.
while he's singing it. I just watched a video of it. Like
That's awesome.
20 minutes
cool.
ago.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Improv
wild. I have
singing.
no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
What were you going to say about
So
his-
with him getting into to doing acting like full time, when he was saying, he goes, I did a ton of research, and he goes, I didn't want to be one of those actors who's disposable. And he said, so I studied acting, I studied producing, I studied doing directing. He goes, I figured I studied every niche and went and talked to everybody I could, and everybody was very grateful and helped me out with all this. He goes, because I wanted to be one of those actors who wasn't disposable, who could be just thrown out like that. So he went and it's so crazy. But the guy, he went and figured out every aspect of production and everything, and he learned it all. So that way, he had an edge up on it when he started really getting into acting.
Well, and you want to know what's funny about that is Bautista. Dave
Bautista.
Dave Bautista.
Uh-huh.
He actually slams Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson big time when it comes to acting. Like I saw an interview with Dave because I didn't realize that he did wrestling as well.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he
Yeah,
transitioned.
Batista.
He tried to
And he
transition
transitioned into the acting arts, and
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He's Drax.
Drax. Yeah, but he what?
I mean, he's got one up on the Rock there. He's in the Marvel side of things.
Yeah.
Come on, bud.
But he really
Found a place
like
for
it.
Batista.
Honestly, kind of made me mad, but on the same time, I was like, okay, I can kind of understand that. As I can't remember his arguments, but it was just like he kind of plays the same role in every movie that he plays, whereas Dave tries to actually become a character unique to its individual film, and that was kind of like his argument on why Dwayne isn't a great actor, whereas he kind of takes to the finer arts.
When it comes down to it, when you're acting, you're trying. It's entertainment, and every time I watch the Rock in a movie, I'm entertained.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, you look at people like Tom Cruise. Like Tom Cruise is a lot of times the same exact thing, but I love
Ethan
it
Hawke,
every time.
Oh, Bruce Willis.
Yeah, like I love it. I still love it because you like that character that they portray.
Yeah.
There's just those certain actors where I don't care how stupid the preview looks. If a certain actor's in it, I'm like, okay, I'll see it. Like, and Dwayne Johnson's one of those.
Yes.
It's like, wow, this looks terrible. Oh, he's in it. Okay. Like,
I'll go see we'll see where this goes.
yeah.
See what happens here.
And I've been pleasantly surprised on a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like Jason Statham. Pretty much the same dude in every show.
Right.
Love every second of it.
Exactly.
Dude, that dude is awesome.
Yeah.
He is.
And then you put him and The Rock together.
Oh my
Great movie.
goodness.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So going forward on Dwayne, wasn't there like a point in his life where he had to go back home to Hawaii and like defend against something with no electronics?
Yeah, it was in Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, that wasn't real life. Got it. And like cars were like chain linked together.
Oh yeah.
They were
and
you know,
he was throwing
their
literally
magnetic hooks.
I haven't seen that one.
he was literally holding 3 cars on one end and holding onto a helicopter on the other end.
That's totally real.
Oh yeah,
It's
totally.
amazing
real.
that he
But,
does
I mean,
this.
did you not see those?
Rippling biceps?
And, it's
Clearly
awesome.
stronger than Spider-Man. Spider-Man couldn't even hold 2 halves of a boat together. Freaking.
Yeah,
It's
he's stronger than
amazing that-
Spider-Man.
That was not a
He would
boat.
put Spider-Man through a wall.
Spider-Man's a stud.
It's just crazy to me that Dwayne does his own stunts. I mean,
Does he really?
Yes,
Yeah,
he
especially
actually
in
held
that
on to
car
that
scene.
helicopter.
Well, that's not a stunt. That's real life.
well, still.
But to say, there's always been in that franchise some ridiculous scenes and everything too,
And that's one of
makes
those-
that
it
makes
is.
that franchise.
It does.
in my head.
Like, what was the one preview where I saw it in the preview, and I was just like, because it's Fast and Furious, I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah. I actually did see something where I think it's either his brother or his cousin is his body double, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
I've heard that.
Yeah, I believe it's his cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'd almost have to.
Yeah, I believe it's
his
same
cousin.
genes.
Because he's like
You're disposable, but you look like me.
You see them right next to each other, dude. From behind, I don't think you could tell them apart. They look really similar, actually. And I think the cousin might, or whatever. I think he's actually even like an inch taller.
Do you think?
yes, actually.
Do they
I've
have
seen
the
them side
same
by side.
tattoos? Like, or do they just fake? But like.
No,
The tattoos.
I don't think
Like,
they
do you
have the
think
same
every
tattoos.
time The Rock gets a tattoo, he just calls him? He's like, "Hey, I got another one." He's like, "Dang it!"
I mean, if you're getting paid to be his body double, whatever, man.
Hey,
I
I'm
want a
curious.
tattoo. You got to come with me.
I'm curious on that. On those tribal tattoos like that, are they kind of like a fingerprint? Are they unique to
Yes.
that person?
Yes,
Are they?
yes.
Okay.
Like, if me or you were to walk into a tattoo parlor and get a tribal tattoo, we'd probably get kicked out at most places.
That's because you're white.
Exactly. I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
You should
It's
just
a
answer the
heritage.
question for us.
I'm not claiming this.
Like,
This was a
is it
mistake.
like? I think
This was a
Is your
mistake.
question kind of like? Is it like it's a tribal thing, like the
Right.
tribe you come
Heritage.
from type thing?
So his that he has on his shoulder,
there's a name. There's a name for it.
right?
I can't remember what they
But
call
like
it.
that Tongan
mana.
or Samoan
that
tattoo
it?
that you see on them, obviously, to the untrained eye, they all look very, very similar, but there has to be a uniqueness to it.
It tells his story, is what it's supposed to do. It's
Yeah.
very traditional.
yeah.
And so, yeah, I've always been curious to that is because a lot of the designs and stuff are I mean, they have the few things put in it that make it unique, but the design itself, like the general look of it, looks the same. But even in that, is it like its own thing? I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, it shows all the things he's won, and tickety taps on him.
It really is like his life story. Honestly, that's where they get
to it. It jumps to his back.
flicks it to his back.
Jumps to his back.
Yeah, I get it.
Shows what he's defeated.
Yeah. We're on the same page.
Well, apparently each symbol,
I killed an eel. I buried its guts.
each symbol of his Polynesian tribal tattoo actually has a specific meaning.
Yeah.
Like every symbol.
The
The sun, like his sun, is meant to bring the wearer good fortune. The great eye is said to distract the person's enemies during battle. The tortoise shell is meant to deflect evil spirits. His family, both past and present, are also represented. The A/GA Fa'atsi is a symbol representing three people in one. For Johnson, the symbol was included to represent himself, his wife, and daughter. His ancestors are present in the form of two eyes watching over him. Other symbols include like coconut leaves to denote Samoan war chief, and a priest or spiritual guide symbolizing enlightenment. The descending swirls represent the culmination of past, present, and future. A broken face marked by shark's teeth holds dual meanings in both. It is both a Samoan symbol of struggle and representative of Johnson's spirit protector. The final pieces of Dwayne's intricate tattoo are the stones of achievement and abundance. These are meant to denote the foundation of his life upon which he builds everything else.
So you reading that makes it sound like he's covered in tattoos.
That's all just on. That's all his arm.
Yeah,
Just his shoulder.
It's his pec. It's his left pec and his shoulder up to his trap, and like
comes
his
down
back.
to his his half of his arm.
Yep. And then on the other
that's a
side, it's
lot.
his Brahma bull.
Yeah, it's his Brahma bull.
Crazy.
It's pretty cool.
But
Actually,
and
that's cool.
It's actually
way
kind of
cool.
It's actually kind of funny about him too. I didn't know this until I was talking to one of the buddies I work with. He's a Samoan heritage, and actually he is related to The Rock, like third cousins or something like that.
Are you jealous?
I am actually. He was legit was telling me, like, I thought he was just joking, but he legit was telling me, he's like, we were growing up one time and we ended up going, he can't remember, someone died, they went to this funeral or whatever, and The Rock was actually there. Like, he had showed up. Wow. And they called him, because I mean, when you're family, it's always your uncle or niece or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, that's Uncle Rock. And I guess there was a huge falling out with him and the Samoan side of the family because his mom married a black guy. And in the Samoan tradition, I could be completely wrong with this, but this is what he's kind of told me, is they don't really like it when you go out and marry outside of that
Like your
heritage. Yeah. And so that's why, like, it explains a lot of stuff, because I'm sitting here thinking, man, you're a kid of what, 8 years old, 10 years old, and you're living on the streets with your mom. Like, where was your family? Where was his dad? That's why I think he had a hard time of falling out with his dad, because it's like, it was just him and his mom, he said, at one point in their lives, living out of a car and just.
Does he have siblings?
No.
Like none at all?
No, I don't think so.
Huh. Wow.
So it's insane, his life. I mean, like you said earlier, a lot of people, Cam, a lot of people would have just taken this and been like, screw this, I'm done with this. Like, they could have been so angry at life and just been a downer on everything. And it seems like he did take out his fair share of frustrations in different ways, but
well, and that's the great divide, right? That's what makes him so special.
yeah, exactly.
Overcome.
Yep.
And that's been his, and that's why I think a lot of the times, I love who he is. I look up to him, majorly, just because, I mean, that dude gets something and he runs with it.
Yeah.
I mean, and he does
Unstoppable.
not stop.
This conversation really kind of makes me want us to do a conversation on Arnold. Because if you
dude, I love his story.
If
His
you
story's
know Arnold's
crazy
story,
cool.
dude, it is wild.
Crazy cool.
He not to get off topic, but Arnold, didn't he posted a picture of him sleeping in a sleeping bag in front of a statue? Because isn't that what he happened to him? Like, wasn't he sleeping outside of a statue when he was
I
like
have
20
no
years
idea.
old or something like that?
Oh, dude,
Like,
his story is crazy. Like, he ended up joining the army. He wanted to be a bodybuilder when he was really young, but that
Yeah.
wasn't a thing that they did in his town in Austria.
But he wanted to be a bodybuilder to get to do something else. Like he had steps and
Yeah.
stages.
Yeah.
We'll have
It's
to
interesting.
deep dive on that
It's
because
wild. He drove a tank. A lot of crazy
his
stuff.
whole story is just very extremely
It's cool.
inspiring.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's very cool.
nice.
So, but I mean, Dwayne, what a guy.
Yeah.
Would
He's
you
awesome.
would you say he's definitely our modern day Arnold?
For sure.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I know when they were talking about the rundown, one of his first, I want to say in the advertisements of that, it even said something about him being the new Arnold.
I don't know.
But-
Like I get that, but I kind of have I mean, he's kind of his own thing too. Like
Yeah.
he's kind of
I
think
I think he did well. Like you were saying, how he did his research of all the different parts of a movie and different things. He definitely. I wonder if he saw the rumors of him being the new Arnold, because he was the next muscle-bound actor to come in after Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, those guys. And I feel like he could have easily gone down that path, and he found a way out of it. And
Yeah.
so, and even as like Batista says, maybe all of his acting is generally the same, but his movies as a whole are very diverse. And so,
Well,
Yeah.
and even on that whole like bodybuilding thing, really cool story that I heard. The movie Hercules. I don't know if you guys ever saw that.
Good one.
yeah.
I liked it a lot.
So there's a part in the movie where he's tied up in the chains and he has his arms like this, and then he's basically flexing and he rips out of the chains. So he legit did that in real life. Like they needed as real as possible. It took like 5 takes. He put in all of his strength and his power, passed out for like 5-10 minutes, would wake up, get back into the scene, do it again, pass out.
Oh my
5-10 minutes, get back into the scene. And like he was like, I was putting in all of my strength to give them a real scene. And he was just like, all that blood was rushing to my head. And as soon as the director would say cut, he's like, I would just let go and just boom. He's like, I just hit the ground, passed right out.
Wow.
Like,
go
So-
for glory.
So when the chains break, I'm assuming in the movie, then I'm assuming that's a separate cut, like to a different camera or something. To
No, he broke him. That's real.
yep. He did.
You know, you said yourself. It's all real.
It's all real.
It's
I'm
all
sorry.
It is all
sorry.
It is.
How could you ask that question?
Gosh.
Ridiculous questions.
I'm just in my head. I'm trying to think of the transition, like how it goes from him to passing out and then to like breaking the chains. Sorry.
Oh, they have these things called computers,
They do what?
and they generate images.
What?
Yeah.
What's it called together?
They shortened it because it's a lot to say, so they call it CGI
What's the I?
images.
Okay, we got it.
Not with The Rock. It's all real.
Not making any sense to me.
That's what I'm saying.
There's
I'm
no
just talking
CGI
about
with
other
him.
stuff.
That's why I'm anxious to see Black Adam, because The Rock learned to fly.
It's true.
First guy.
I mean, he was a big old scorpion at one point, and now he's going to learn how to fly.
I'm
He's-
glad he
all.
got over that curse.
You know, what else I find really interesting is, and this isn't necessarily just a thing specific to The Rock, but I've noticed nowadays it's very popular amongst actors and, you know, just people with a ton of money to start diversifying it and purchasing companies or starting new companies. Like Dwayne, you have Terry Moana, you have,
Ryan Reynolds.
well, but what else does he have? We mentioned a few of them there at the beginning, but he has his own shows. But what are the things that he actually owns? He owns probably the
You've got the Terramana. You've got the Zoa.
Zoa.
energy
That was
drink.
the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you have like people like Ryan Reynolds who owned Aviation Gin for a little bit, sold it, and he owns Mint Mobile. And you have other
then,
people like
What's his Wolverine?
Hugh Jackman with
Jackman
Happy. Was it
has his
Laughing
coffee.
Man?
Yeah, Laughing Man Coffee.
Yeah.
Laughing Man Coffee. But then even like Jessica Alba, she owns, what is it, Grove? Something like that. It's a cleaning product.
Yeah.
But it's just
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
to me that
Dax
like
Shepard and what's
Kristen
his
Bell.
last name? Yeah, they have it's a baby brand. What's it called?
I can't remember.
Hello Bello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Pepper Potts.
Yeah,
Hey,
let's
we
not
don't
talk
wanna-
about
we
it.
don't
Let's
wanna
not-
go into that.
no.
Oh, you don't know? We'll tell you after the show.
Oh, I was going to say
She has very specifically scented candles, and we don't like
I was
it.
going to say she has her own workout line. What are
Oh
you
yeah,
guys
tell us.
what
Yeah,
are you
we're
guys
gonna
talking
tell you.
about?
We'll tell you.
Yeah. Either way, it's wild.
We'll tell you when you're older.
It's wild what people with money are doing nowadays. It's a lot. They're a lot smarter in a lot of ways, which is actually very inspiring as well. So
Yeah.
anyway,
So, but on that note, I think we'll call it a night.
I think we smashed this
I
rock.
think we did.
I think we smelled what he was cooking.
for about an hour.
Smelled
Hey,
good.
I'm okay with that. I
Hey,
could
I-
literally talk about the guy all day long.
Yeah,
so.
I-
He,
Smelt and
he is
smelled.
a stud. Like you said
Yeah.
at the beginning, he's transcended all boundaries, and I feel like he is honestly an inspiration to everyone.
Yes.
in some way.
Yeah.
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 So on that note, can you smell what the crowd is cooking?
Join us. Become part of the crowd. Hit that subscribe. Let us know if there's anyone else you want us to talk about.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye bye.
We'll see you next time.